Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Headspace podcast. It is episode 37, and it is HSR here today, and joining me.
It's your boy Chris Chrome.
And Damon, unfortunately, again, has some stuff going on. She's moving, dealing with some stuff, so we got to let her have her time to go fix life up and enjoy her summer as it comes, per se. We're going to hold it down again this week, and we do have our lovely soda streams. I'm going to be rocking some orange tonight.
I've got some cola. I stopped that whole water flex for a little bit.
Oh, it's quite delicious. My mouth was too full to be talking in that moment.
Yes, it was.
On that note, why don't you tell us what fucking album we'll be reviewing tonight?
Well, for this week's Headspace album review, we decided to go with Meek Mill's Wins and Losses.
Yes, and if you don't want to hear us talk about anything in particular, hit the show more. You'll see a full breakdown of the tracks. You can click ahead. In the meantime, Chris, tell us about Meek Mill, what you like about him, what you know about him.
Okay, so I never really liked Meek Mill, to be fair, just because he's always fucking screaming, as I've mentioned before on many podcasts.
He does have that intensity in his voice.
Right, but I can understand why people enjoy listening to him, because he does give you this energetic feeling and wanting to, like, feel powerful and fucking get at it and get going. So, you know, credits to how he presents himself and how he does his thing. I learned about Meek Mill once he signed to, like, MMG with Rick Ross, and he was popping off with them and doing their thing. I heard him around. I know about the beef with Drake. You know, he's in the news. He's all this shit. But I never really actually dived into, like, his music.
I only found out about Meek Mill, really, a bit before the beef, we'll say. So, like, I did kind of know the name just because it's such a strange name because of the word meek being such a submissive and passive and not strong term. So I guess it was ironically used because of who he is. But, yeah, and then the Drake beef happened. And then I found out he was with Nicki Minaj. Now, in general, I don't give a shit about any of that. But it was hard to ignore the beef. And I think the first Meek Mill song I put on was the response he did to Back, and I was like, it's not that bad. I don't know. Maybe it's not as good or as smooth as the Drake stuff, but...
I mean, again, he's got this ability to bring out that energetic side of you. So a lot of his music is bangers, not gonna lie. A lot of the music he makes are bangers.
We can get into the banger side of his music after, but basically I don't know. I didn't really know anything about him. I know more about him from, like, Instagram, from Twitter shit. Yeah. More about his personality and his feud with Drake. And didn't he then go at the game after that?
Yeah,
it seemed
there
like he was
an Instagram beef, and then
all
it turned
sorts
into
of
a
shit.
real beef with Beanie Siegel. And
I'm like, I couldn't care less. This is, like, honestly, Hollywood soap operas and shit just in hip-hop form, so it's not really anything interesting.
You need drama.
But, so, I don't know. Then the next time I really, really heard Meek Mill was on that fucking song Black Man by T.I.
Black Man.
His verse was sick.
Top.
His verse was actually really good, and I was like, wow, that was cool. Strong flow, everything was whatever.
Yep.
And then he's popped up a couple of times since, I think, as we've reviewed albums, and he usually sounds good because he contrasts everyone else he's with. And then, I don't know, we got to this track. And I don't know, this Wins and Losses album came out, so we said, fuck it. I think it actually came out last week, but we did Tyler, so this week we're doing Meek.
Well, it's either last week or, like, halfway this week, anyway.
And so let's talk a bit about Wins and Losses. When you hear that title, you know that...
It's real.
He's had some wins, he's had some losses. For me, it's just, it puts the Drake beef in my head right away. Like, trying to acknowledge that although he lost there, he's had wins along the way, per se.
Right, but I wouldn't just say it's about the Drake beef, like, directly. It's also about, like, his struggle and where he comes from and how he grew up and all the shit he had to do.
Of course.
You know, and all, like, the dropping of the labels.
But when I hear that title from him, my first thought is Drake beef. Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah, because it's Meek Mills, and I don't know that much else about him, so what else am I going to think? I mean,
frankly,
his biggest claim to fame to date is battling with Drake, as far as I know. I might be wrong, but
The longest time I knew Meek Mill was just like, or at least I thought Meek Mill was just walking around beefing with everybody, just to get like attention.
I don't know. I've heard a lot of articles. I've seen how he's coming around. I saw that he's doing well per se, but I don't know. There's never been anything about him that made him stand over the top. So wins and losses to me is this Drake beef, and then maybe the other beefs. But then I look at the cover and it's just all these little photographs, like a lot of little photographs, and it just shows different moments in his life, and it's like, okay. So now it's like the wins and losses down memory lane, etc., etc.
Reminiscing about who he was with and chilling with.
You have to actually like really look at the album cover, because at first glance it doesn't really look like much is happening there, and it's definitely not that distinguishable per se. But I don't know. You want to jump into this album?
Yeah, let's just jump into it.
All right. So speaking of wins and losses, that's also the title track.
Against the shall not prosper. Young niggas started with oozing noodles, now we eating lobster.
So I wasn't sure what to expect with my first like Meek Mill album, but this is a fucking strong start.
Yes.
Just got like a street preacher type, quoting some stuff. I forgot to write the dude's name down. Kind of setting like one of those religious kind of motivational speech type things. And then Meek comes in and makes some comment about oodles and oodles of noodles, and then moving on to lobsters. Fine, whatever. You're not really sure where it's gonna go. And then he does another play on the religion thing, like as I walk through the valley with my live, like whatever, and flex, and then he just keeps going and going, and it's just bars.
But it's like, they're not just bars where they're just written out. Like, they're meaningful bars. Like,
Right.
he's saying stuff.
And he's kind of outlining a lot of the fact that he's gone through struggle, that I guess he's here. He's kind of, I don't know. I kind of had a lot of trouble identifying a lot of specifics in this song.
He plays on the contrast of winning and losing at the same time throughout the entire verse. He talks about how he's winning, and then right after he talks about how he's winning, he explains something about how he lost. And then he goes back to now I'm back at it. I'm winning again. I got my shit. I got my cars.
Right.
And he goes back. So it's
just not one of those songs that you're putting on to really care about all the necessary words that he's saying. This is a hype track. It is fucking slamming. There's no hook. So it's just a giant verse. And his flow changes as the verse goes on to match parts of the beat where it changes. Yep. Sometimes a little sloppier than others. In general, super fucking strong, but a lot of this, okay, I understand that this is very personal to Meek Mill, but a lot of it just sounded so fucking generic.
But it's, okay, I feel the same way, but you kind of have.
I mean, I get that maybe his personal like situation is comparable to a lot of other people in the very specific level.
He's always been like that though. Like that was also my intake coming into this album as well. I was like, this is gonna be another like I'm trapping, I'm this, I'm that, I'm like.
Well, it's Rick Ross's label, right?
Right.
I don't know if this is not on MMG or whatever. My bad, but like it's not like it's bad. I gave this song a 4. And the reason I gave this song a 4 is because I could put this on at the gym or something and, you know, just fucking vibe to it. And I'm certain over time I really would learn all the words to this song, but it's not like I want to. I don't actually care what Meek is rapping about. Now, I watched some interview with Joe Budden, and he seemed very excited about this album, which made me a little more, like, excited for it. And this song is definitely strong, but I wish it didn't sound so generic. I wish that it was almost like Meek had taken his experiences and added a certain artistic flair to transcend beyond this standard rap sound. Because it sounds so fucking standard. But it's still great for what it is so far.
Okay. I can see that. I see how you can give it a 4. I actually gave this song a 5 on 5. I thought it was fucking epic. I actually took the time to listen to the lyrics. I've been listening to the album actually all week. And to be real, like it's cool for me to hear his wins and losses and kind of in my head relate to how like I lost some and then I won some and look at where I am now and look back to where I was. So I liked how he presented his message in this song, and it's just fucking hype. It's fucking energetic, and it's just I would play this every single morning. I'm not even gonna lie. Straight 5 on 5.
All right, I don't know. I guess there's a lack of artistic flair to it. but it doesn't really give me any kind of a heavy heart.
From all the shit that we've been in, watch you put gasoline and burn out all of your bridges, nigga.
This was cool.
This was definitely a calmer song, but I kind of get where you're coming from, where Meek just kind of is the same on every song. Like, he really has that one voice, and he might change the volume a bit, but it's that one voice.
It's that one certain tone that he uses in the sense of, like, just, he wants to be heard. Like, I feel like he has this need to want to be heard, so he has that particular tone to make sure he's heard, which we get it. Like, I get it. Mad respect. But I feel like certain songs or certain messages need a little bit maybe of a different...
Well, it's like he's going on about here kind of how he's lost people along the way. And
people fucked him over.
It's kind of one of the consequences of, let's say, being a boss, and he's learned from the experience, etc.
Well, learning was, like, he's also explaining what happens in the streets and how, like, you got to hold your own weight and your own back and, like...
But again, he takes something that sounds so personal. And, like, it's supposed to be, like, this super deep, emotional, like, Meek Mill is describing his victories and losses type thing. This is a loss track. I get it. At the same time, there's a win in it. He gets wisdom. But really, it doesn't sound like it's significant to him. It just sounds like he took a lot of average, like, what it's supposed to be bars and arranged them in a way to tell this message. And I feel like it's, again, generic. Like, anybody could have written this song. It didn't necessarily have to be Meek, which is sad because it's good. It actually has a good feel to it. The beat's solid and proper. Like, I don't know.
That's the thing. He's not, like, he doesn't make bad music, like, itself. It's just, it somewhat sounds a little bit, again, generic and a little bit kind of repetitive in certain verses and in certain songs.
Absolutely. And it's just, I don't know, like, again, like, I heard everything on this track. His flow was actually different, even if his voice was the same, and it was good. I gave it a 4 again. But it's like, it's hard to call this an amazing track, because it just, I bet if I pulled on other songs in his career, apparently he has more sensitive stuff on this album compared to other shit, but the style of rapping, I'm certain it's comparable. And if it's not, I'm certain there's another dude who sounds exactly like this that's already out there. And that's the problem I'm having with this album, and I'm already only 2 tracks in. I don't know.
Fair enough. I also gave this a 4 on 5. I feel the same way, to be honest. In terms of just, it is a little just too generic to be what it is, what I feel it's supposed to be. That's it.
All right. Well, I guess we can fuck that check up.
Fuck that check up. Fuck that check up. Fuck that check up. We getting rich and these niggas sick. They need to check.
My friends are dead. Push me to the edge.
Okay. We can't hate. Okay, shut up.
I like that song.
Like, that is a good song.
Okay, no, this track's okay.
No, this track's boss. This track is fucking boss.
But okay, so Meek Mill's is sober now, right?
Right.
And he's all fucked up on this track. And that's where I guess the bit of the conflict comes in, right? So is he writing about his past experiences and how he once upon a time used to behave in this way on a song like Fuck That Shut Up?
Before you get into that, what did you get from this song? Because I think I get something different.
I got that he gets paid and he fucking spends it all to have a boss-ass fucking time.
That's the obvious message. I got that the women he meets and that Uzi meets cause them to fuck up the check that they're making. Because a lot of what they're referring to in the songs is they're talking about a lot of women and how they're spending money on these women and how they're, like, letting them do whatever. So I feel like they're describing the type of women they meet and that they're, like, fucking their check up.
Even if that's the truth, I don't think it's 100% that, because later on he references fucking that check up on the album like it's a good thing. I think he's saying that he gets paid and he gets laid. And, like, he's choosing to be with these people. He's choosing to be in these environments. And he's making it clear it's about getting fucked up, getting lit, getting turned. And this track is definitely a you can get turned to it type shit. I get that. I felt like, look, if you're going to be a generic rapper and you're going to make generic rap songs, do something like this. This is a hype. And then Meeky comes in and does all this shit. That chorus is okay. Like, I hate these kinds of choruses. Really not my cup of tea. But still, this one was on the better end of things. Then Lil Uzi Vert comes in. Now, Lil Uzi Vert, I don't have a lot of experience with. There's the yeah from Bad and Bougie. There's the All My Friends Are Dead, which is fucking a hype track. I hate how much I like that song. Now there's this. I don't know what the fuck this was. His flow was on point.
Dude, this was good.
His flow
This was good.
was on point.
Dude, this was
His
good.
words were whack as fuck.
No, this was good. Like,
This
for Little
dude-
Uzi, dude, this impressed me. Like, I sat there and I'm like, okay. I saw his name and I was like, all right, it's going to be shit. And then he went through it and I was just like,
it was like,
what?
look,
No, this was good.
look,
This was
just because
good,
the guy
Uzi.
can actually apply a flow and the guy can articulate words and shit, if what he's saying is whack, I don't know. It was just dumb to me. It was like, okay, that's the problem I have with Lil Uzi Vert. He doesn't really try to say anything. He just says stuff.
Well, no, it's the new metaphors to what, like, they're using to explain what they're saying.
I don't give a shit. That was a whack verse. It wasn't bad. It's not like I'm saying Lil Uzi Vert dropped a shit verse.
Fair.
It was just kind of whack, and it was hard to wrap my head around. I give this a 4 again.
God damn.
I'm like, look, this isn't a bad album so far. These songs are fun. I could put these on in the right environment. None of them are, like, spectacular, but pretty good so far. 4 on 5.
Not gonna lie, I gave this a 5 on 5. It's a fucking banger. Uzi, look, I gave it a 5 on 5 because Uzi really impressed me. How he flowed, he didn't sound stupid. He didn't
kind
have
of sounded stupid.
Fine. Maybe look, to me, he didn't sound stupid. The flow was on point. Meek did his thing. It was cool. It was nice. I was like, all right, by now I kind of know what you fucking sound like. But it was a nice banger track, and who doesn't want to pretend like they're fucking up the check because they got so much money? Straight
Well,
up.
I'm okay with that until Lil Uzi Vert starts going off in a direction where I don't want to fuck the check up with him. No. I don't even really want to fuck the check up with Meeky. I just kind of want to fuck the check up somewhere else that they're not there with their song on. That would be a good way to look at it.
I don't know. It's been a weekend with them. So 5 on 5.
I would not, but that's okay because they definitely have whatever you need.
She said fuck him, he let that go on like he bugging. Then she thugging.
I don't really like Chris Brown. I don't care if he still makes music and he's loud. Fuck him. I don't really want to talk about him. He sounded generic anyway.
Yeah.
Ty Dolla Sign 99 sounded better. Still sounded really fucking generic though. Meek Mills had an okay flow. His flow fit the beat. His voice, it suffers from, like, let's say the same conundrum of sounding pretty much exactly the same.
I'm a thug trying to be soft and emotional.
Well, it's not even just that. It's not that part. It's because, like, that's more like a Ja Rule with, like, the hey, baby.
Okay. I
And
see
then
that.
you see, like, a Thug Love type track. No. This is more like I'm the same guy as the exact last 3 other tracks, only now I'm talking about buying you Chanel bags and fucking you because I got the money. And there was a lot of R&B elements
But
to
we
this
can
song.
consider this a win on his album, though.
How? There was a video.
He can
No.
now start purchasing Chanel bags and fuck hot women.
What you're saying is this is a win. I guess, but he had Nicki and he fucked that up, and now he's over here. And
Yeah.
I actually don't know enough about the Nicki shit, so if somebody wants to criticize me, go ahead. I just think it's kind of like you were doing well over there, and now you're over here talking like you're all the other rappers. Like, frankly, every song that Ty Dolla Sign seems to be on actually seems to be about this subject of getting girls and paying for them in some way or another, and it's like I've heard this song a whole bunch of times on this channel already. Like, I keep hearing this same song, and I guess it didn't do anything for me. It wasn't poorly made. The beat's well executed, but it also isn't good at all to me. It's just a 3. It's like a flat old average in the middle.
Nice. I gave this song a 4 out of 5. I thought it was pretty cool. It was smooth. Chris Brown was Chris Brown. I like him. He has that generic sounding thing. He's not really ever bad. Ty Dolla Sign's good too. The only thing that fucking pissed me off is that he had to state his name Dolla as if I felt like he was trying to validate himself.
How do you mean? I don't even know.
Anyway, he kind of just flows in. It's something like, it's Dolla, and he just has to, like, say his name. And I'm just there like,
Well,
I don't know. I felt like I know that a lot of rappers do it.
It is generic.
It is generic, but I felt like the way he did it just kind of like for me, it didn't fit no rhyme scheme. It was just kind of there. Like I felt like he just tried to validate himself that he was on the track, and I was like, you shouldn't have to do that. But other than that, I mean, the song's really good. It wasn't produced bad. It was very smooth. It's one of the softer Meek Mill tracks. I mean, he still has to, like we said, have to suffer that thing, but suffer that conundrum of the loudness. But
well, like, his volume isn't out of place. It's just that he still sounds like he doesn't sound like you really want to fuck him or date him or anything. It sounds like he's a scary guy to be around.
just trying to be nice.
It's like, okay, you're hard at breakfast type of guy. It's kind of the feeling I get. Like, you're writing a song about chicks, have some loving, some fun. Not, I'll buy you stuff, fuck me. Okay, if that's your romance game, bro, I understand why the strip clubs is so popular amongst this group of people.
Fair enough. 4 on 5.
Yeah, whatever, 3. So, anyway, next up, we have 1942 Flows.
Every time I pray at night, scooping thotties in the phantom, that's the way of life. And make a fuck.
This is just started from the bottom, now I'm here, except a far more legitimate version of the song.
Yep.
I mean, I don't want to come in like a hater or anything, because I dig this one. The beat, really nice. The flow's pretty solid. Even like the message, it's the first one where I actually felt that genuine connection to Meek Mill's. Like, this was the first one where I was like, okay,
We could be
I'm
pals.
feeling you. I get where you're coming from. This is definitely your song. But it just, okay, because like, I don't know if you guys knew it, but there's a Wins and Losses Meek Mill movie. And this song has its place in that movie, and you can just picture kind of stuff happening. I don't know. The kind of, I just wanted to mention it because we did it earlier. So many of these tracks, including this one, don't have videos per se, but are kind of added into this movie where it's a bunch of scenes playing out. Drug deal goes bad, boom, boom, boom. Somebody dies, somebody gives birth, wins, losses, you know? Like, kind of that duplicity. And then, I don't know, Meek just kind of starts standing around in the background watching, rapping and shit. And so this, I think, is playing either at the funeral or when a shooting happens or whatever. It was pretty interesting. But I like this song. I think it's again, unfortunately, not like over the top with distinction. He doesn't know how to coherently tell a tale, right? Like, we've heard some of these dudes who, like, when they rap, the entire verse has a certain degree of congruency to it, and it isn't like every few bars he's topic hopping. Like, he has no like, it's like it's just everything's bars. It's like
Right.
a bunch of one-liners he wrote down in the studio and just kind of like threw them together.
I'm not really surprised. This is what Meek Mill's been doing forever. It's just gonna put it out there. Like, I get it that it's good. It's good. It's not a bad song. It's just I don't feel there's any change in what Meek has been doing in terms of flow, in terms of adapting to something different.
I mean, it's like, instead of talking about how you sell crack, you're saying, I sold crack, and now I don't have to sell crack. I mean, really, at this point, you should be so far past that these aren't even conversation points.
Or at least do it in a way where you're explaining to like the youth or the younger generation as a message, like, I've been there and I've done that, not just like kind of gloating or
like,
like
he's my age, if I understand it. One of these music videos has him turning 30 in it, and like,
yeah, he's turning 30 on a plane.
and it's just kind of like, Meek, you know, you're definitely not in that old life. I don't know why you have to. That's my problem with Rick Ross too. It's like, you're not really doing these things. You're just fronting a bit, and I mean, it's almost like, dude, you had a lot of real wins and losses in your life that are worth talking about. Interesting experiences. Why does it all have to kind of tie into, you make money, you sold coke, you make music, you get, like, it's just kind of boring.
Because that's what the fans want to hear. I feel like they do it just to stay like relevant to who will listen and buy the album.
Like, is this because Rick Ross is saying do this or you can't even drop an album? Like, I don't know. I give this another 4. It is a good song. It is fun to listen to, but I'm kind of feeling like this album is super shallow for like the hopeful depth that title was like building my expectations for.
Fair enough. I also gave the song a 4 on 5. I just thought it was a little long, and by like the end of it, I was kind of tired of hearing Meek a little bit. I was just like, okay, I get it. Like, I get it. Other than that, again, it's a good song and it's nice. It's just a little long. That's all.
Fair enough. I guess you can say we have a few issues with this album.
I've been horn screwing. What you doing? Wait a minute. Getting paid. She say, Meek, you know.
I feel like this is another lost song, maybe.
No, it's not
This is a win.
This is a honesty. I've got issues because people have fucked with me and shit's gone wrong, and I'm not afraid to fuck around and shoot and kill if you fuck around and try to mess.
Getting high and making sure his bitches fight each other. And...
Yeah, but that's only because he's trying to like escape the reality of shit, but he still has to be like in
Which
depth.
Makes me wonder: is this a historical song like Meek at his worst?
No, he's kind of just.
Or is this a regular Tuesday for Meek?
No, this is a regular in a sense of like that. This would be another regular Tuesday for Meek. The way I'm taking it, he's just acknowledging that he's got issues. But if he's saying he's
sober and stuff now, it would like almost make me assume that he's kind of past some of these things.
Or you know what? Maybe it's because he thinks that making girls, for example, right, making girls. Because there's many times on this album he claims that he's got girls kissing girls and all this stuff and make them do this shit. Maybe he feels like having that type of ability is like that makes him have issues. Right. Like it's an issue.
You know what I'm feeling like for a song like this. It's like when a really rich guy has a tiny dick, so he buys a Rolls Royce. And Meek Mill's here on this here album is kind of like saying all the right things to floss in all the right ways. He has a huge obsession with that one particular watch company. I'm like, it's kind of like you're not really bringing anything new to the table. You're just another rich guy with a tiny dick flossing about how you have nothing else to show for yourself. It's kind of like, all right, Meek, you're getting high and fucking around, but really, it's an okay song. It's not like it's bad. I gave it a 4 again because it's hype. I could listen to this. So far, I wouldn't have to skip anything but that Whatever You Need track. This is the only one I would say is skippable. And it's good, but honestly, I'm going to forget about a lot of this in like 2-3 weeks. It's not like it's going to stick in my mind. He's getting a lot of hype right now because he had a really cool, clever campaign. Like I'm telling you, that movie he made is almost better than this album. But once that hype fades down, it's like, I don't know, I might go back to a couple of these tracks, but definitely not Issues. Wins and Losses is far better than Issues. But again, I couldn't even give either of these a 5, so another 4.
Fair enough. 4 out of 5. It's a good song. It's cool. He, like I said, he's acknowledging he's got problems. It's honest a little bit, I feel. But it's still generic. It's still like he's complaining about the power he has and he's complaining about the issues he's got. It's like, okay, you're just...
And I feel like it's a lot of the shit that he puts himself into that he doesn't have to be there, and it's almost whiny in what it is.
I have a theory on that. I feel like a lot of these rappers nowadays are still sticking to this generic theme of like, this is what the lifestyle is and people want to see me doing this.
Right. And it's almost like maybe, because I notice it's the same kind of shit with Rick Ross. Maybe it's just the branding of Maybach Music.
Because I mean, to be real, when Rick Ross is like a Rick Ross video, and this is complete tangent, but Meek Mill and Rick Ross did a song called I'm a Boss. And it's just, I see Rick Ross on the fucking four-wheeler, and I can't picture it. And I feel like
you know what really bothered me? Is when he got off the plane in that video at the plane, and he had the money phone. And I'm just like, come on. Jay-Z said that's not even money. It's too funny. Like, it's like, Meek, I want to like you. But you're making it really hard because you're talented, you've got an energy. Man, if Meek Mills was writing Fuck the System songs this whole album, I think I would really feel it. If the guy just went a full 180 and stopped trying to be this boss-ass player and instead became a boss that said fuck the government, I think Meek Mill would be the perfect guy for that shit. But now it just feels weird.
Too far in.
I don't know. I guess next up we have to listen to a fucking song about how they ball.
Used to pray them ramen noodles, turn a lobster. Gotta watch my own home.
So I just want to start off. This starts off with like a dedication to Lil Snoop, who is Meek Mill's like prodigy, who died and got killed.
Yep, it was very sad.
It was Then they talk about how they're just gonna ball out, do drugs, take money, fuck bitches, and then Young Thug talks about doing the same shit
with the loss of their friends.
Well, right.
Almost like in celebration of the loss of their friends. This track, I did not like it. It has a video. It is popular, I guess. The video isn't really like anything in specific. It's a lot of like
clips and
clips
videos
of
and
Meek
like,
Mill. Like didn't even get a lot of Thugga. Like they
Thugga's not even in the video.
No, there is one scene.
I did not see that. I apologize.
I think I saw one scene of them. Like I mean, they must have toured together or something. I've caught some behind.
Well, there is a music video where XXXTentacion is in it.
Sure.
One of the new tunes.
But really, like, I feel like this song, first of all, Meek chose to change up his voice. And you know how he did it? He added some auto-tune fucking suppressing ass bullshit. He sounded bad with it. Like even Young Thug sounds okay with it.
No.
He sounds bad with it. It just doesn't work when Meeky does it. Meek, I want you to be screaming at me. Or at least something. Just not that. That was fucking weird. So it's like they tried to take this song that was this dedication and turn it into this fucking swagged out, drug-fueled, whatever, orgy of shit. And then Young Thug comes on. Young Thug's like half this song. So if you don't like Thugga,
I don't.
He just comes out.
So fucking
and like
weird.
he just like gives up sometimes
Nothing-
halfway through the line.
Nothing he says on this fucking song is relevant to any loss. It's just
Well, like forget that. He gives up on lines, man. He'll like I start off this sentence like this and then like that.
But that's his thing. It's
That's
like he's
just
so
fucking
fucking
annoying.
drugged up that he just
I don't
fades
even
out.
think I don't understand it. It's like I don't get it. I mean, I get a lot of people, whatever. I actually don't find him as mumbly as I once did. I've come to not like the term mumble rap because these guys actually can enunciate. It's just fucking weird. It's like I'd rather it back when I didn't understand them a little more. Anyway, this was shit to me. This is not a good song. The beat's okay. The production gets some points. So 2 on 5. Like I could definitely skip this shit forever.
I gave this a 3 on 5. It wasn't like I was just It's not bad if you like it, and I can see why people would like it, but it's not good.
Man, it's not even worth it. You know what? I heard this song and I swear to God I got these scars.
Bitches in them MMG. A legend on college, how they gon' remember me? Y'all nigga.
I got like a mix of feelings on this song.
So
Guordan
was good.
Guordan was fantastic.
Like-
that chorus is the best part of this album, hands
Thank
down.
you.
His singing is A game. The lyrics are
Straight
tight.
up.
His flow
Straight
is
up.
amazing. Meeky is above average, but not excellent. He comes in and he does his shit.
Come on, and please, Future.
What the fuck? Come on, man.
Dude, Future just gave up worse than what Young Thug did. Future just didn't give a shit. And
It
please-
sounded like
hold on,
Future
hold on,
got paid
please.
for a feature, and then he just came and didn't even try.
Please enlighten me on what the song's about. I feel like the entire song is about how Meek Mill is acknowledging the history and how like they were given the land and now they're taking it back by spending money and getting cars and showing that they can get it,
Meek has that
right?
Jay-Z feel.
And then
Future
I'm
just
like,
says
Future,
stuff.
where did you go? You went into a car and mumbled your fucking ass off.
Apparently,
Like, what
lost
the hell?
friends on the way at the end of the verse. I don't know.
Well, yeah, nobody understands
I
him.
mean, I feel like Meek is showing wisdom here. It is definitely one of the most intelligent verses he put on. The idea of buying jewelry and shit is bad, buying land. I feel like this is the first, one of the first
Political-
modern Meeks.
Okay.
Let's say Wins and Losses is a modern Meek. This is a modern Meek, and a lot of these songs are kind of past Meek and coping Meek. And I might be wrong about that, but I felt real. And then it was really Future. He just fucking slayed it. I might have actually given this a really great mark, but I was forced to give it a 3 because there's such a large chunk of shit at the second verse of this song.
3.
I don't know. It just... Look, I don't want to be a hater here. I try to appreciate these musics. I try to get into that
it's not
headspace
hating
for it.
when he didn't do anything.
But Future just didn't try.
Like,
His verses...
he didn't do shit.
like,
If you really listen to it, he just...
I don't know. It's not like Meek is enough. It's not like the rest of the track's amazing enough that it works with that bad verse. And I'm certain that this track literally got Future just to have Future on the album for the sake of the name or whatever. I don't know. Or they're all, I don't fucking know. Maybe they're all homies, whatever.
We're probably homies, but
guess.
still, Future, disappointment.
Yeah.
Sorry. 3.
I can tell you they did not connect the dots on that one.
Waiting on my car. They been waiting on that ring to pull that thing and chop it off to knock you off.
The first time I heard this song, I was like, trap, 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 trap. Like that song, Trap, Trap, Trap from the Rick Ross album.
Right.
That's what that kind of vibe. And I was like, yeah, trap, trap, trap.
Selling drugs in my head.
And basically that's what I felt all 3 verses were.
Dude, I was like, okay, so you're getting all emotional. You have meanings. You're trying to present this message. And come together with whatever you've done and accept, and then you went back to robbing, killing, and being what?
But it's like, I don't know. The chorus is whatever, and then everybody does their verses, and the beat's really, 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 really hype at the first time. Then the next time I listened to it, it was still good. I was like, yeah, connect the dots. That one's a pretty good track. Yeah. Go through it again, and you're kind of like, wow, this is generic. This is like every other song. Like Rick Ross's verse, I swear it's like, it sounds like it could have just been on any other Rick Ross verse. Like this guy doesn't have versatility per se. I once had somebody tell me that the guy's famous because everything he says sounds boss, but everything he says kind of sounds less boss than a lot of other things I've heard on this verse, And I don't like it. And Gotti, I don't really know him, but he doesn't really bring a lot to the table. I've heard him a couple times now. Never really impressed me much. And then I heard it again when I was like really reviewing, and I'm like, this song has nothing to it.
There's nothing to it.
Except for the trap. So if I'm faded, I'm dancing to this.
I feel like Rick Ross and Meek decided to just make another fucking drug dealing trap song and was like, let's get Yo Gotti on it and let's just give the kids a fucking banger to do something.
I feel like the boss showed up and said, I want to be on the album.
Well, he's on it twice, so
and he showed up and he's just like, we're doing this, but this is a loss, ain't it, Meek? And he said, yes, boss. And then I don't know, man. It's just this song isn't bad, but you're right. It definitely feels out of place. Doesn't feel like it should be on this album. Don't understand the purpose of it. I give it a 3. It's hype when I'm drunk, but it's not even worth listening to because there's just hyper shit out there.
Gave it a 3 too. There's nothing to it. There's very generic, very similar to everything else they do. And I bet you if I go back through Meek's catalog, I'll find another song that sounds identical.
Or Ross's,
or even Yo Gotti's.
Trap.
Like I've listened to Yo Gotti before. I've heard him as featured on other tracks. I've heard him with YG. It sounds the same.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess we can safely say none of these dudes right here have fallen through for me.
Moved on his like you Rihanna. I was supposed to hit, I was never supposed to cuff.
I think this is Meek Mill apologizing to Nicki and opening up about the relationship that he feels that he sees on his side and explaining how he's just saying sorry.
Maybe, but it also sounds like another standard, I'm gonna be there for you, you should come through when I call you, you should fuck me, I'm gonna buy you stuff kind of songs. Now it really made me laugh about this song is ups and downs like a camel. What the fuck does that mean? Now, I rode a camel. What? It is uncomfortable. It's not really
It's literally the humps, bro.
I know, but it's a bad thing. It's just, listen, sir, when you're riding a camel, it has a hump, as you know, and it goes up and down. You're correct. Now, you have balls, and you have to do weird fucking angle twisting shits to avoid having your balls crushed by this camel. All I'm saying is I heard that, and the rest of your song, that lyric bothered me. Couldn't get it out of my head, the rest of it. It's not like there's a lot to this. It's so... Now it's the standard ladies jam for Meek Mill's album.
Yeah,
so that...
It wasn't bad. It was nice. It was smooth. He was cool. It was a little bit romantic, more than a lot of what he's done on this album already.
I'll have to give him credit.
I'll give him that.
He doesn't rapping about taking other people's girlfriends, and he seems to be kind of focused. All right, points. But that's it. It's not like there's anything special here. Anybody could have written this track. Any one of these dudes could have come out here and dropped this track. They could have swapped out the rapper, had a different guy perform it, and it would just be the same thing. I would still feel the same way. It would be kind of a 3-on-5 blind, boring romance song.
Yep.
But rapper romance is so fucking weird. It's not like regular romance. When you really think about it and you listen to these guys, it's like, aside from a gold digger, who the fuck would want to be with you?
I mean, I guess it's just showing the affection in a different way, and by buying you nice things is how they show affection. Like they don't really have emotions.
That's like their
sense.
chattel, their cattles, and they're gonna. I don't fucking know. It just seems like a weird approach. I get it. It's good for groupies and gold diggers, but if you're gonna write a romantic song, it shouldn't be about a girl you're fucking just to fuck per se, because that's just not really romance. That's just more lust, you know. It kind of misconstrues the idea of what love is when these rappers, and then you got to consider the female perspective. I don't know. Something like this just kind of gets under my skin. It has no real basis for anything other than to floss, and I don't like it.
Fair enough.
And yeah, I don't know. Nothing more on this one on my end.
Well, I gave it a 3 out of 5 as well. It was very neutral to me. It is a good song though. Like, it's not bad. You can listen to it. It's nice. It's smooth, but it's just not. I didn't feel it the right way as much as Meek wanted me to feel it, and I don't know.
That's all right.
3 out of 5. But hey, we never lose.
Never ever.
When we see them niggas treat them like they fool. Ayo with that Draco with the half moon. Every time I look up,
I like this.
It
I like
sounds
this a lot.
Yeah, it's because it's one of those classic Quavo choruses. Like those Migos-y repeating yourself a lot with the generic stiff in the middle. I like the featured dude. I can't pronounce his name. Lihtz, Kamraz or something like that. He's all right. He has a good voice for it. Meek, more experiences, more of a, started from the bottom, now we're never going to lose shit. But you have wins and losses, therefore you are going to lose. Therefore, stupid song.
I feel like, okay, so he claims at one point, and it's funny how he was like apologizing on the last track, right? So I feel like he was apologizing on the last track. And then on this track at one point, he goes on to explain about how, like, if his girl starts fucking around, it's okay because he's basically fucking models every day. That's how he never loses. And I feel like he's getting this, like, feeling that he's trying to present that he just always knows how to win. He just is always on the move.
So
and
he has a lot of money, so he can buy his way. I don't get it, man. It's this. Look, with this type of thinking, it doesn't show the evolution you were trying to put forth in that one verse where you were like, I've changed. It's just, I don't see this as a win. I feel like by making this song in and of itself, it's a loss. It's another generic, boring song where you almost contradict. Like, I get it. The idea that I'm never going to lose because even if I lose, I'll bounce back. That's all right. But, like, Bounce Back by Big Sean, a really much better version of this song. I just have to throw it out there. So, like, when you can start thinking of other rappers and the exact songs that are better versions of it, it's like, all right, Meek, you tried, but this is another fucking 3. It's not like...
Well, it was still a hype track. It was cool. It's nice to listen to. And you know what? When you're having a little bad day, you're down on the dumps, put this on and you'll feel a bit better yourself. It's a 4 on a 5,
I'd
bro.
rather put on Bad and Bougie than this shit.
Hey,
at least that song
sit it on camera.
Yeah, because that wasn't good, but at least it has more than this. Had cool fucking ad-libs and stuff. This was just kind of like a dry Migos song with Meek Mill in the middle instead of those 3 guys.
I can see that.
And it doesn't feel like it's his style. It doesn't feel like it fits nicely. It feels like he's trying to get that pop market and maybe drop this as a single at some point, get another group of people to come bump that shit, and it just feels off. It doesn't feel like a great track at all to me.
Fair enough.
Oh boy. Next one's Glow Up.
I finesse up all the pennies. I hit raw dog.
So it's hype. And this is the one with the video at the plane. And my least favorite part of that video is when he's in the middle of the verse and he just stops and answers a phone call. He like scratches his face twice. And he gets off the phone and goes right back into the verse. I'm like, it's annoying. Plus the fucking minute and a half of Yo Gotti and him talking about turning 30 and shit. Whatever. Then the track comes in. And then the track is just... Like, you want to sit there and be like, trap at this. You want to. You wanted to because you've given it that effort. You've even done the dance a couple of times on the album.
But then you just get bored.
You're just like, but nah, we've done this already, Meek.
Glow up, glow up, glow up, glow up, glow up. It's just, oh my God.
Like, it works as a single. It works as like a promo thing. It works as like, I could see this being really good, the live, everyone screaming along with you. It's a hype turn-up track. But what the fuck is there to this song?
Nothing.
That makes it exceptional, that makes it good. Like, basically what I'm seeing is Meek Mill...
He sends shots, dude. He sends shots out, and he's, like, just going after about how he went for this fucked up, he bounced back, he flexed on his ex, he did... It's just another generic fucking track where he's just going on about how he's winning again. It's nothing different.
It's boring. And, look, I feel like for an album called Wins and Losses, you've come back... Yes, you're probably going to make some money off this. Yes, you're going to get some hype off of this. Yes. But what are you really winning on in the grand scheme of things aside from more money? You're really not establishing that reputation. Granted, you ruined Drake's credibility. Thank you. On the other hand, you didn't really establish your own, and that's unfortunate. We're like 12 tracks in. It's a 17-track album. It's over an hour long. And honestly, this is easily the third song that could be this I've heard on this album so far.
Fair enough.
I don't know, man. I gave it another 3. It's well produced. That beat is the best part of it. But I kind of wish he had done anything with it. Anything that wasn't just globe, globe, globe. Like, oh, blah, blah, blah. Fuck yourself.
Fair enough. Another 3 out of 5. It's just too plain.
Yeah, nah, nothing really here. But at least there's the next track, Young Black American.
For a license, made his mama relax. Damn, they don't understand.
This may be the single best track on this album. Like, flat out, this is what I was hoping for. It is a really honest criticism of kind of his experiences in the hood, the types of shit that are going on. Pretty much every great rapper we've touched on the Classic Quest has this song on their album. And it's definitely one that is worth repeating because it adds this context to what the young kids see, what the young kids do, the opportunities to them, the part where if you do get arrested and go to jail and now you're fucked and can't get a job.
I mean, he's still somewhat young, though. Like, he's only 30.
Dude, that's my age. It's old enough. When we're talking young, we're talking like 15.
Right.
And I think he's describing like the high school kids, the young ones who really don't see the point in doing the right thing. They're not getting the right education. And it's trying to... And then there's just lines like when the Dream comes... Holy shit, the Dream is good. He's like the best one of these guys I think I've heard in a while. But like he comes in and he's just like they kind of like identify this white world that they kind of want to be a part of. That's just the other side of the city, this other thing. And
it's like the other side of the fence type mentality.
Tracks, dude. Just say tracks. Literally the other side. Anyway. It's pretty fucking like Meek does his whole verse and the Dream does his thing and then it says Young Black America a bunch at the end, and honestly it's beautiful. I'd give it a 4.5 if we gave 0.5, but it's a 4. It's not a perfect song. Meek kind of he has the same problem with his voice where it doesn't change a lot, but
I didn't feel that way about that. I actually really like this song. I gave this a 5 on 5 in terms of what he's trying to say, what he's expressing, and again I agree with you, Holden. This is the most single best track on the album. It is strong, it is powerful, it carries itself, it's not fucking boring, it doesn't get old. Meek, I will give it to him. For some reason it works, and the contrast.
That's because he slows down. He's not rapping as quick as he does. So he slows down. He kind of pauses out, makes sure that it's more about the message. But it's the fact that he has a static voice in it. It isn't like...
Fair.
Like, I would like to see him express more emotions than rah. You know? Like, I would like to see him actually have some range to his voice. Because I think he could have softened up even more, shown some more pain. Like, the way the Dream hit it was beautiful and perfect. But then there's the video. And the video is like the end of the movie. So if you watch the video, it kind of feels out of context. You don't know who the characters are, but Meek's talking to this drug dealer kid, etc., etc. The whole song plays up. The Dream, I don't really think he's in the video, but it ties into the movie, which I do highly recommend you watch out. I'll link it in the description below so you can easily check it out if you haven't. I'm serious. It's worth the 25 minutes for it. But this video, even if you only want to spend 3 or 4 minutes, is amazing. It really shows stuff that happens, the cops chasing the dealer kid, the blah, 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 blahs, and, you know, standard hood stuff, but it really fits the song, and it's an interesting video. Like, for whatever I might want to criticize the rest of this album, that, like, music video and all of that has a certain degree of thought and passion put into it that I find highly respectable. But still, this one's a 4.
Fair enough. I gave this a 5 on 5.
Right, you said that. You're just so open about your feelings.
With me better answer, ballin' in the shit like I'm a raptor. She be only fucking with the trappers. No, the haters.
This is another love you, I'll pay, and we're gonna fuck, except just with a feature.
And the guy comes in, and it's funny, on Genius, they said he's crooning, whatever, and I was like, okay, he's gonna croon for me, and then he comes in, and it's like a flat, almost mediocre singing. Maybe it's just the mixing or something, but I feel like, it didn't really... It's just like, I'm going to spread you open and stick it inside. And then Meek comes in and drops another generic rapper love song verse. It's like, I don't know, maybe he has clever bars or puns or specifics in the middle that are particularly excellent, but I didn't really hear them. I mean, even if they're there, there isn't enough in this song to like really draw you back. Like if you're one of those skeptics of rap music where you find it all kind of sounds the same, don't even try this song. Just fucking move over it.
It's just gonna be a waste a little bit.
Like that Or Nah song by Dolla and The Weeknd and all them is like a fucking far better version of Open. Like it's really fucking good there, and I can't help how much I like that song.
It's a good track.
And then you hear this one and you're like, oh nah.
Kind of like
this one.
Or Nah downgraded.
Like it's lame. It's not like there's anything cool. I feel like Meek is clearly trying to establish a heavier presence with a female market. And you can tell that somebody is trying to say, like, Meek, this will get you more female fans. This means more money. You need this, Meek. You need more girls. You need it. So he's doing it, and props to you for trying to diversify your portfolio.
Full respect.
But, man, you got to learn what romance is, dog. This isn't romance. And you're not really a boss daddy type either, because Pimp C and the other dude showed you what pimping's about. And you're not really, like, a Snoop Dogg kind of swagged up. You're not really much. You're just a gangster talking about fucking a girl here is basically what I'm getting from it, and it doesn't translate well. It's not like a classy dude. It's just like your random thug on the street trying to write a song about smashing, and it just doesn't sound like
it's
fun.
Like there's a lack of effort in wanting to be creative on this song. I don't feel like he really cared enough to actually make a point.
I don't know if it's not caring. I think he doesn't know how. I think that this is what he knows now, and he doesn't really get how to write a track for the ladies, because, I mean, he's fucking probably... Like, I can't see girls going to the average... Like, they're not that biggest Meek Mill fans, in my opinion. Like, I can't see ladies being like, oh, yeah, I love his fucking screaming aggressiveness. It doesn't seem to be, like, the most appealing thing.
I love it when he yells at me.
You know, like, and it's not even a good way. It's like, I'm scared, like, I've got all this rage inside.
I love you!
It's just fucking weird. I don't know. Anyway, this one's another 3.
Yeah.
It's not bad. I don't want to say it's bad. There was 1 or 2 that were like, but this was just meh. It wasn't fantastic. I could do without ever hearing it again.
Finesse on it.
I don't know. I guess we can move on to the track that has your favorite on it, Ball
Quavo.
Player.
Wait, fish scales, blue bird in the mail, feeling like blue clue, hick on the mail.
I like this.
Of course you do.
Of course I do. But
why does Quavo have to do this thing where he repeats himself a lot?
Because people want
ball
him
player,
to,
ball
and
player.
everybody does
Every
it,
track
and
he
because
does it.
it's easy to just go ball player when you're chilling up in the club or when you're just walking down the street or whatever.
It's
the hell
like
it is.
everything he does is for the live performance. He doesn't even write a track for your car.
That's a good marketing scheme, to be honest. Like, to be able to have a hook like that, that's just
Like,
everybody
I would
generic.
love
you
to
can,
say
you
that
can
like
do it.
Migos isn't going away, but apparently they're here for a hot minute. But keep in mind, man, a lot of these guys were here for hot minutes that even lasted 2-3 years, and then their career went.
Yep.
Like, it's interesting. Go look at the mid 2000s. Quavo, I don't see him lasting if this is his whole fucking career. According to Joe Budden, he ripped off a song called Free Smoke for his flow. I went and listened to it. I think I listened to it at least. I don't know if it's the right one. But yeah, I can see how this Quavo flow isn't that original. It's okay. He's got some clever bars, whatever. Meek Mill comes in, fucking that check up and all that other shit. Again, whatever. This shit feels like they're definitely aiming for a single.
It's a generic rap drug dealing song. They're talking about cocaine. They're talking about money. They're talking
Why do
about
they be like
this.
cocaine on this? It's like that's the motif for this fucking
Like,
album.
it's well, yeah, that's what Migos is known for, is for like flipping bricks, whipping in the kitchen. Like, come
I
on.
don't know. I mean, like literally the way they pronounce it is cocaine all over this album. Nobody just says cocaine. It's always cocaine.
No, it's to make it more
know.
enthusiastic. Whatever.
I don't know. This track's a fucking another 3.
I gave it a 4 on 5 just because it's a dope track.
I would give it a 3.5, but it still is kind of a 3. You know why? It's better than Open. It's better than some of the other blonde ones, but it isn't like great. It's like the production makes the song better. Quavo's generic funness makes the song better. Meek doesn't really make this song better. It's not like Meek is the selling point of this. People are going to bump this to sing along to Quavo. I mean, I hate that I'm fucking saying that Quavo's the best part of anything, but He really is the best part of this song, and the beat's good, and it's just like White Iverson and all these other fad songs. It's called Ball Player.
They're here for a quick minute. They're gonna fade out.
And this is a single jam to go viral. Like, I don't know. If they were smart, they'd just put a bunch of basketball shit in this fucking
Or
video.
just a bunch of memes. It's coming.
It's so fucking hard to do these tracks. It's almost disappointing. I was
Why?
hoping because I was hoping for like a lot more intelligence from Meek on this album. I don't know why I was hoping for that, but I was.
Well, I guess it does stem back to like when you look at the album, when you hear what it's called, Wins and Losses, you feel you get this like.
Like, come on, man. Jay-Z just showed what a Wins and Losses album is really going to look like. As much as we may not have given it the best review, per se, hell, we may have even been wrong about it. By comparison, this is just shit, you know? Anyway, Meek wants to tell us another fucking song about how he made it from nothing.
Oh, my God, we got it.
No better feeling, see Lil Poppy talking French to me. All this money, them pussies.
I like this song. I think, I actually do. I like how Meek, it does somewhat sound generic, and unfortunately it's because it's how Meek sounds, but I really like how it felt a little bit more personal, and he kind of just really dived into what he struggled in, and I like the contrast between all the artists on the song. It's not a bad track. I would listen to this. It's smooth, and then it comes in hard, and then it's smooth, and it's just, it's
okay, look, Taylor sounds great. She sings fantastically. Like, I really enjoy her element, and it creates like this certain vibe for the song. And then Meek comes in and does nothing with it. Just more Meek. I know it's his album. Okay, you know how I gave you a whole bunch of shit for being like, well, the songs all kind of sound the same. And blah, blah, blah.
Right.
That's all I'm feeling on this album. Like, the songs just all fucking sound the same. I've tried to find stuff here. I've tried hard. But frankly, Rick Ross does nothing on this. Again, it feels like he forced himself
I
into
like
this.
to be fair, I like this Rick Ross verse a lot better than I like the previous Rick Ross verse.
I don't like either of them. I don't think either should be on this album. Like, it feels like he's trying to make Meek into a thing that he shouldn't be or whatever. Meek, okay, again, this just kind of sounds like all the other fucking I kind of have started from nothing and I've gotten my money. And again, it roils down to money, like false sense of respect, things I don't really admire. It's stuff like, it just shows how vain he is, right? Fair. So I'm not really seeing anything interesting. Yeah, the girl is the singer part, but she's the best part of this song.
She is. She's got a very powerful voice, and I love how she knows how to control it and be able to just flow on the melody and flow with the vibe of the song. It's just incredible.
Yeah, but it's just the rest of it is not. Like, the beat doesn't really enthrall me. There's another one that kind of sounds like it, and like, honestly, this album's starting to drag on. When you're going to make extra songs, let's say past 12, 13, you're playing in extra song territory. You're obviously going for the sake of getting more stream play, trying to get longer watch time per se, because that's now the biggest metric that counts.
Right.
So you're throwing more material on. On top of that, there were like 2 tracks that were released around the time of this album that have music videos that didn't actually end up on this album, or I didn't really watch them because they weren't on, so I don't know what happened to those ones. And it's like, okay, you're releasing all this shit, but what happens when you release too much stuff? And it was always my biggest criticism of dudes who relied heavily on releasing multiple mixtapes quickly. It's that your shit just blends. And I know we've loosely used the blender effect as a term to describe how things sound the same, but
it's true.
But on this song, I can't think of anything distinct outside of that girl's singing performance. And even then, there are other singing performances that are comparable and serve the same role. And so it's like, dude, there's nothing here. This is just filler. This is the definition of a fucking filler track, in my opinion. And I don't think it should be here. I don't really think Open should be here. You could probably cut out a couple of other ones too. Like Never Lose could get cut off this track. Shorten it down to like 13 songs. And it would have been a stronger album entirely. And I would have really dug it. Like, maybe just end on Young Black America. Boom. End of the fucking album.
Jesus,
throw a Ball Player into the middle, because obviously you need your Quavo feature.
Yep.
But really, there's nothing on this song. I'm going to give it a 3 because Girl Singer saves the day. And the beat's okay. Production's good. But, nothing fucking great here.
Look, I really liked this. This was really cool. I liked how it felt more honest about it, and again, Rick Ross bothers me a lot, but for some reason on this one, he felt a little bit more humble in terms of just how he goes about it. So I was like, you know what, this is a 4 on 5.
Fair enough. I don't want to talk about this one anymore. There's too high of a price.
Graveyard shifting it, $1 to my name and I remembered it. A nigga said I.
So you like this one?
I like this one only because he is talking about the price you have to pay when you get up to the top, and I feel like ending the album on this was cool in the sense that he's kind of accepted that's the price he has to pay, and he's got 2 options. You either do it on your own and you make what you gotta make, or you suck it up and do this continuously and suck.
So like the beat's okay. It's got a strong beat and his little intro parts, whatever. But frankly, this song is super underwhelming. You notice there's a couple times on this album where like his biggest concern is that he said no to his friends for once and they talk shit about him, and it's like, man, you have some serious like first world problems.
Like if you've got that much money to be dropping it on hoes and drugs and things, why do you care if you say your friends no? If they're gonna take it as a fucking bitch ass move, then they're clearly not your friends.
And that's why he's had to drop them. So it's like, I get that he's had these epiphanies and he's gotten his money and he's had to cut people out of his life and he's had to move on and he's had to do this. But I feel like that's what the entire fucking album's about. And this song doesn't really add to that. It's just kind of like, let me tell you again about the prices of my losses and what I've had to do to win. And I'm like, let's say on my list of songs I would cut off, I would keep this one on. Hell, maybe even call it the last track on the album.
It's not a bad way to end the album.
But it's so underwhelming. I feel almost disappointed with this. Like, I was hoping for this great song telling me about the price and the consequences of the actions and stuff. Elaborate and hype, and it's like Meek being like, I made more money, so I had to cut my friends off. Basically, I'm rich now, and I was like, fuck off, Meek, man. Like,
we get it.
I hate it when rich people bitch about the price of being rich. Like, I get it. You're fucking famous, and you've done all this stuff, but at any time, you could have just taken your experience and gone and done something that made you less money and not had to go back to the hood ever again. Like, you choose to do what you do, and I understand the idea of putting everybody up, and I respect the idea of, like, paying for all your friends' shit, but say I get mad rich, I'd employ people. I don't know if I'm going to buy them everything. There's ways to approach it that are more intelligent than other ways. So I'm trying to say, and I feel like maybe Meek's learning some of them, but it feels so whiny. What a whiny way to end the album. I'm going to give this another 3. To me, this is not a strong track. I still kind of would have hoped that Young Black America would have been more of what this album sounded like.
You know what? I'll agree with you on that point. Although I did like this song, and I did like how he was kind of just a little bit more honest and just coming to accept that he has to do certain things and he has to just make certain movements. So I give this a 4 on 5.
Fair enough. I don't know. This is the end of the Meek Mill wins and losses review, I guess. I gave this album a 3.29. I feel like it's okay. It's not something I'm going to go listen to again. It's not going to make my top 10 albums list. I'm going to forget about it. I like Meek Mill as a feature guy. That's what I've learned. He doesn't have the versatility to hold down an album and keep it interesting. It seems like the producers and the features are more relevant to if the song's good than Meek on his own, because after a while his tricks get old. I don't know. Average album. I'm certain some people love it. That's okay. This is my thoughts.
Fair enough. For me, my score, this album got a 3.9. Honestly, it drags on. It's a little long when you have to hear the same type of tone and voice all the time. And if you're the type of person who wants to hear some lyrical shit and some honest lyrical shit, don't listen to this. Not saying it's a bad album, just saying that this isn't the type of lyrical stuff that people really could get them to think and really get to relate to or even try to understand. You just went on about money problems, women problems, drug problems, and then the occasional your buddy died.
And seriously, there's not even a lot of congruency. It's almost like every song had to mention that he's rich. Every song had to mention that, like, the struggle per se. It's like, I get that you wanted to create some kind of a concept here, but you kind of drove it into the fucking ground.
I feel like this is his like attempt at a win back album. Like, he's trying to explain the wins and losses, like we said.
Guaranteed Meek Mills isn't bouncing back to superstardom with this album. He's going to his trap fan guys, like the same types of people who probably dig Maybach music and probably dig all these sounds are going to feel it. But this isn't going to break the pop. This isn't going to get you to where Drake is. This isn't really going to lift you to the next level.
To be fair, this album, Tyler, the Creator's album, and Lana Del Rey's all made top 10. And Lana Del Rey was on top. This album was second, and Tyler was
top
third.
10 on the weekend you come out is one thing. Being an album that people go back to is a different thing. Being an album people are excited about it. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, you got a point. I
feel like this album doesn't have that, like, suck into your brain. You're going to be like, yo, Meek Mill's Wins and Losses is my, like, album that I grinded to. Nah, like, really, why would it be? There's just better ones. Fair put on fucking Good Kid, Mad City or something, you know? It goes into Damn. Damn is a better album about wins and losses if you really want to go there. I don't know. I got nothing else to say on this. My headspace
Our
is getting kind
headspace
of
is
full.
full. It's over.
So if you like it, like the video, please
hit the
subscribe
comments.
to the channel.
Let us know what's going on. You can follow us on all our social media platforms
And
that are
if you
posted
have
down below.
any classic albums you love, we also review classic ones. So tell us what your favorites are, and
we'll for sure try to get to them as quickly as possible.
Which will take a while, but we will get to them. The list is big at this point.
Yeah, but we got another one coming soon for Classic Quest.
Yeah,
we'll see you all next week.
All right,
Damon
peace.
will hopefully be here.
Damon's not here next week. My boy Nuclear Convoy is going to be jumping in for
Look
a
at
feature.
that. We got a little
Damon
special
has,
guest coming
out
in.
of town for a wedding. I actually have a wedding also that weekend, so it's going to be quite busy, but you know what it is. We'll get it out. We'll get it done.
All right, man. We'll figure it out, guys. We'll see you real soon. Take it easy.
Peace.